now. I just got to see where my post is on my thing. And why is this? This happened last week too. That's very annoying.
What happened?
Here we go.
What you wrote?
It's just difficult. It's just being difficult about wanting to about me wanting to change the audience because like I want it to be public.
Well,
Um,
we're live on Twitch, and
yeah,
Linda
I'm working
shared
on
it.
my yeah, it's my Facebook that I'm working on.
Okay.
Let's see here. And it's just annoying.
I checked Twitch, so I heard us, so we're good.
All right, so we're there. I do not know why it is being so difficult for me.
It's Mark Zuckerberg censoring you.
You know, it wouldn't really surprise me because I am pretty awesome. And but I don't know why it is. I'm sorry, everybody. Thanks for watching, all the folks that are actually watching. A little bit of tech support theater because who doesn't want that? It's just the coolest thing, right? Just going to be another minute, folks. Sorry about that.
What
Oh,
I'm
we see what
building
we're
tonight.
building.
Like that, Jeff?
Oh, nice. I almost thought of picking one of those up when I was at Costco the other day.
It's ridiculous. I got that, and then next month, or later this month, Billy Bone.
I guess I'm. Why is it not? I'm just gonna have to go without it. That's really frustrating. Okay, one last thing. Sorry about this, everybody. Why is it? Okay, well, we're just going to go without Facebook today because I'm not going to spend more than 5 minutes working on that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. My name is Stephen Dutzman. I'm your host, as always. This week, we have another packed house with a packed lineup of stuff because we get to talk about two big things. One of them being the release of the new Nintendo Switch, a new generation of Nintendo hardware. You don't get to do that very often. In fact, we haven't been able to do it in 8 years. And second, we get to talk about some of the really awesome announcements that came out of Summer Game Fest weekend, which was this past weekend. There was Summer Game Fest. There was the Wholesome Games Direct. There was the Day of the Devs presentation, and Microsoft came out and made some announcements. And PlayStation snuck in a little event last week on Thursday, which had some very exciting stuff. So, uh, before we go too much farther, let me go ahead and introduce the panel as I do every week. And then we're going to get right into it. Starting first, we have the director of the Michigan office. Jeff,
That's
how are
right.
you?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Good to see you.
It's podcast
And
night.
it is podcast night. Podcast night is best night. But I do have one question for you, Jeff, and this is just a coded question. But has the truth set you free?
The truth has set me free. I am so happy they gave him his contract back.
Me too. Me too. The truth has set me free. John, you are next up. You are the soon-to-be director of the Massachusetts office. As soon as your mortgage guy will get back to you. How are you, sir?
Well, tomorrow I will be in Boston for International Play Day for Lego, where the whole U.S. Office takes the day off, and we go play. So
Don't anybody
okay.
try and buy Lego tomorrow.
You can't even call customer service. We'll be off till Thursday.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. Next up, we have the Mistress of Magnificence, otherwise known as Mom, Linda Roble, fighting your way until the end of the school year. How are you?
Clawing my way to the finish line. I'm doing great. Finish line is in sight.
2 more days. You can do it. I believe in you.
2 more days.
It's pretty much as soon as we see the chickens, that means it's the home stretch. I think that's
so true. It
that's how we
really is
get
from
there.
April break, 'cause that's when I get the eggs right after break. It's the sprint to the end. It goes so fast. You turn around twice, and we're at the end of the year. It goes so fast.
Absolutely. Well, we are all four of us are super excited for you to have your well-deserved time off, and I'm excited because that means I get to put you to work again. So,
It's
because
true.
summer is when you do a lot of content making, so we're just gonna keep it on
Yeah.
up. And next, and last but not least, my very best friend in the whole wide world, Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power, and her partner Mike in the background. You'll see him looking at his monitor for the rest of the evening. Amanda, how are you?
Good, good. I spent my whole day writing, so my brain is mush, which means I'm ready to talk about video games.
Perfect. That's what we love to hear. So let's start because obviously we have lots of game stuff to talk about. Let's share our good news. And Linda and I have like co-good news. And that is we had a LARP event not this past weekend, the weekend before, that was really it's the event that the two of us have been dreaming about for a decade or more, about finally bringing all our kids, and our team was there with all of our children that were not just too young. And so
Right.
there were 13 of us.
It was a huge group.
13 of us, two whole cabins. And it was even wilder because the game we played was at the site where it all began. It's where it was my first ever LARP. And so I actually got to have the really
Same
weird
here.
experience of having a battle with my kids there, including my youngest, in the same place that my very first fight was. And so it was very weird, very cool, very much more emotional than I expected it to be. But then when you think about it and realize that I am a wreck, not really that much of a surprise that I was a disaster. The weather was weird, but other than that, Linda, what do you think? I think it went off exactly as we had hoped. The kids had a blast. So did we.
It was great. No, I was stunned. My youngest, I was a little concerned because, I mean, he's only 13. That's young, and he's small for 13. So I was a little concerned on how he'd handle himself with all the people. It was a bigger event than my oldest has seen. So it was
Yep.
like I was curious how that would play out with how they would handle these circumstances, and they both did great with it. My oldest like rolled right into the dynamic with a bigger group. My youngest was really good about sticking with one of us, and I ended up spending a lot of battles just handing him packets, and he was just thrown away. And I'm gonna give all the props to the NPCs because they were very conscious of all the young players, and they really were trying to make it cool for them. So there were people I noticed role playing when they were getting hit, especially when the kids were succeeding and getting them. Just the dynamic in general, like especially the NPCs, but also the PCs. I think everyone did just such a top-notch job of making it a really positive experience.
Yep.
So I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
I agree. It was everything that I had hoped for. I had been able to play with my 3 kids a few times, and so for me, I don't want to say it was old hat, but like it was really cool to be there again and be in that place. But there was just something about having that critical mass of youngsters rolling around. It was really great. Can't wait to do it again. We got another one coming up in September, so I hope some of us will be able to make it. Because it'll never be this weekend again. This is the one we were waiting for. And the best part, really, and I didn't even get to mention it, is one of our teammates who is 71. He was older than us now when we started. Just randomly out of the blue was like, "Hey, can I come play again? Did my character expire?" Sir, no, that's not how that works. Of course you can. And so we had we had our very young kids, but then our team went from 13 to 71. Let me tell you that as the team leader, that was challenging, but we made it work. We made it work.
You did a great job with it.
So that's our good news. That was a lot of fun. We'll share some pictures, I am sure, in the Facebook group as we get them. But that's not the only good news in the world. Amanda, what do you got? You got any good news for us? You wrote all day today, and that was cool.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing a lot of. I'm on big deadlines right now for my horror games, so cannot talk about it for a number of reasons, not the least of which is I can't talk about it. But good news. What kind of good news do I have? Oh my gosh, my kids are almost done school. That's good news. I'm looking forward to having them home all summer. I'm a weird parent. I actually love having them home because then I have like gaming buddies just around.
Yeah.
And it's great. I don't have to wait for them to come home. They're just here. And they'll sit in my loft and they'll laugh and be wild little maniacs, and it's my happy place. So yeah, the good news is, my son is actually finishing middle school. He's turning 14. And this is his last week of middle school before he moves on to high school. So it's a lot for me, but I'm proud of him. I'm just also sad at the same time because that's hard.
Yeah, man.
Getting old.
Yeah, I absolutely get that. Jake is going to be a senior next year.
That's wild.
And I really don't like it.
No, not acceptable.
We're both gonna have a senior and an 8th grader.
Yeah, so but here's the thing.
Graduations next year.
But it's true. But see, the thing is, I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird. Isaac being a senior next year doesn't bother me nearly as much as Jake. I don't know why. But it's fine. It shouldn't bother me as much. Bother is not the right word, but man, I don't like it.
There's an emotional attachment thing there where it's like, oh, the slow march of time has come for my children. Well, I didn't anticipate this.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by slow.
Yeah, exactly. The days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
How about you, Jeff? What do you got? What's going on out in Michigan?
Well, I have a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about is that I am putting my toe back into the community theater. I have auditions on Monday. We are doing The Prom, which if you guys have not seen the movie on Netflix, it's a great movie and can't wait to do the show. But during this production, I am completely going out of my comfort zone because I want to play a bigger part, so I've had to prepare a song that I sing during audition. Which
Wow.
Oh wow.
luckily, our music director for this show is one of my friends, and he came over Sunday, and we worked on it for like an hour and a half. Zoe, my youngest, 3.5 years old, she always tells me she wants to practice with me, and I practiced it so much that she can sing almost every word to it. So hopefully in 2 weeks at our next show, I'll be able to tell you if I got a part, because practices don't start until July, so I can be on the podcast a little longer, and it's a real quick one, so I won't miss as much as I did the last time I did the show. But
Okay.
I'm excited. We'll see where it goes. And
That's awesome.
My other bit of good news is I'm still losing weight. I've lost 27 pounds.
Good job, buddy.
Oh, good
Good
job.
job. I found it.
John stole from me. That's what happened.
I'm in the wrong direction right now. I'll get there this summer, though.
And well, I mean, listen, we're sorry. I got a random message in the middle of that. And so it's plot submission time for LARP. It's deadline, so we have to tell them what our characters are doing in between games. And I hate paperwork. And so I have paperwork to do when we're done, so I can. I don't know. Anyway, so congrats, Jeff. I'm really excited for you. We know you're working hard. We are very proud of you. And John, you shut your damn mouth. We are proud of you too.
And if anyone wants to know, the song I have been singing constantly that Zoe can now sing with me every word is "Who I'd Be" from Shrek.
All right,
The
love
musical,
it.
if anyone knows that song.
And John, how about you? I mean, what do you got for good news for us?
Tomorrow, like I said earlier, is Play Day, so I'll be out in Boston at Boston Live something, which is like a music club in Boston for the day. And on Sunday, I'll be back to go see the Red Sox play the Yankees for Father's Day with my dad. So,
Oh wow, that's
Nice.
awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
he bought the
So-
tickets. I'm just driving.
I mean, listen, however it
That's a
happened,
big
I'm
deal to
not.
be the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing.
Only,
I think
only
that still
halfway.
counts.
We're going to take the train the rest of the way. So,
All right, well, I mean, that's great. So, a lot of good news. Let's just skip all the other pleasantries. We're not going to talk about games we played because excuse me, because the Switch came out and all the games we're going to talk about are on the Switch. So let's just start with the Switch itself, because 4 of the 5 of us have one. Linda, here's what,
Yes.
because I know you do not have one
Correct.
yet. I'm sure, especially after the Splatoon announcements earlier on today, your youngest will be on your case about that.
Mhm.
But what I would like you to do is play the role of a curious parent,
Sounds good.
and feel free to pick our brains as we say stuff. And if we say stuff that's wild,
Wild stuff coming from our mouths? Never.
No, never.
say, ask us, just ask us what you got.
Okay.
So we all have one. Did anybody have any weird shipping stuff? Did we all
Yes.
just
I
end up
did.
getting our Switches when they needed to happen?
No, I had
my-
weird shipping stuff too.
My Switch literally showed up 15 minutes after I left for work.
Oh.
I still haven't got my Pro controller that I pre-ordered from Target. It's supposed to be here tomorrow.
yeah,
Target's shipping was the worst. It
Yeah.
really was.
I got 2 of them. My second one arrived today, and it was from Target. And I chatted with them on Saturday night trying to get some sort of partial refund. because I saw people getting $50 back, and they said, we'll give you $10 back tonight. When you get it, contact us again if you have more problems. I was like, all right. So I got to call them again tomorrow and try to get another $40 out of them. But I have a backup one for those who were unable to get one. So
Okay, well that's awesome of you. Hopefully, I'm sure that you will have no shortage of people in your network who need one. Mine ended up not being complicated at all. We pre-ordered it at GameStop. We paid for it that day, and we ended up having to trade in a bunch of stuff, and it was painful. But we did it, and the midnight release was so smooth. I didn't even, I mean, my son got out of work at 9, and we just kind of hung out, and I brought the iPad, and we just watched YouTube in the car until it was time to go in, and we were one of the last people in line, and we ended up being home by 1 o'clock. It was really kind of nice. I mean, we were up late because, it took a while to get everything all set up, but man, it was great. So first impressions on the console itself, I want to say for me, I thought this thing felt cool, like if the original Switch felt like a toy, and this does not. This felt like a nicer piece of equipment.
It has some heft to it.
I was going to say that it actually feels lighter, to me. But maybe I'm just comparing it incorrectly. But
I think it's just the weight is portioned to the right sides, where it doesn't feel any heavier. But it definitely does have a bit of a weight to it.
But it doesn't feel flimsy. Like the nice thing that I found about the design overall is that, the kickstand, I think, is the thing I like most about the Switch 2 in handheld mode. Yeah, like look at that. It is really really nice.
Ooh.
And
it scares me, or it scared me until I actually used it. Right?
Yeah, I sat with it legitimately like on a table for 4 hours. Didn't slip. Didn't have any problems holding itself up. And because there are two ports. There's one on the top and there's one on the bottom for charging, I could keep charging it even if I needed to, even though the battery life is excellent. It really is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great compared to other devices, I don't think.
I
think it's good.
I think I played Mario Kart for 2 hours on battery life alone.
That's really good.
Which was really good. Like my Steam Deck cannot do that.
I guess maybe you're probably right. I don't know. I just don't ever think of 2 hours as being that long. However, you're right. In compared to other devices like the Steam Deck, it blows them out of the water. When I first saw the kickstand on the back, I was absolutely nervous that it was going to be like this flimsy, kind of flopping side to side kind of thing. It's a surprisingly solid piece of tech. I mean,
it is.
I would not sit on this thing.
No.
You still have to take care of your equipment, but I think the big difference for me with the Switch 2 versus Switch 1, and Jeff, tell me what you're thinking about this. The Switch 1 doesn't feel like it's going to break just by existing. Whereas, like, the way that the Switch 1 was, with sliding the Joy-Cons up and down on the slides, it just felt like it was gonna wear down over time. Whereas this thing, I'm sure it will. We all know how this stuff works, but it just feels a little bit, higher quality build, and it's not designed to slowly shatter over time.
Yeah, it feels sturdier. I will say I do think I prefer the kickstand to my OLED a little better than that, but that's because it's the whole back of the system, which is nice. It's not like that U-shape. But no, it's sturdy. Clicking in the Joy-Cons has a nice snap to it. So easy. And you know what? Let's be honest. Had my Switch 7 years now. I did not get it on release, but I've had it since 2018. I still put my when you have to put the little tops on the Joy-Con, I still put them on backwards. So now.
Oh yeah, I'm very dumb. Yeah. I'm very dumb. I'll do that until it's all over.
And
so
then,
being able to,
and then you're trying to click it off, and you're feel like you're gonna break it, pulling it out of. Yeah, I didn't have with that. It just snaps right on. They have the wrist straps you can also put on. Which I know we'll talk about games we played, but the strap actually makes the mouse controls a little better.
The fact that you can put the Joy-Cons on backwards. I am absolutely waiting for the random indie games. Oh man, we're hearing the click. I'm waiting for an indie game that has you using the controls with the screen facing away from you, where you have to control it, and it's some kind of weird asynchronous nonsense.
It's a Wario game.
It's a Wario game where they're like, turn them
oh yeah, 100%.
Or some random student game somewhere. Like Amanda and I are gonna go to play NYC in 3 years and see something crazy.
Probably.
I just thought of something. This just popped in my head. And now this game's quite a bit old now, but imagine playing if you had two people have the game, keep talking and nobody explodes. And
I love that game.
And then the other just has to play with their Joy-Cons backwards because they can't see anything.
Something like that. You know what? I would not be shocked. So enough about the hardware itself. I mean, we'll have opportunities to talk about it. But let's talk about the games. Because I think that's the part that everybody wants to hear. Because who cares about toys, right? Let's talk about the games themselves. First game we played was Mario Kart World, right? Did anybody play something other than Mario Kart World first?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
In my defense, I've literally only played Mario Kart World on my Switch 2, so
I don't think that's a statement that needs defending. I think that's great. Mario Kart World is awesome. Linda, here's the big thing about Mario Kart World.
Okay.
It's really freaking good. That's it. That's all I got. It's really freaking good. I mean, there's a lot to say.
That's the headline.
The headline is Mario Kart World is really freaking good. We've got 2 saves running in our house. We have mine and we have my oldest, and he has already found all the outfits. He's working on unlocking all the monsters and the NPCs. And there's just so many characters, and I gotta say, Knockout Tour is probably the coolest feature in the game.
I gotta try that. That's the next thing on my list for...
You do.
That's the next thing on my list. Because I've played so much Grand Prix, and we did a lot of online play. We tried wireless play, but it wasn't very reliable, unfortunately, which was kind of a huge bummer. So the wireless play is ad hoc wireless within a local space, but we couldn't get it to work for some reason or another. Not sure why.
I mean, we all know there's hiccups in the beginning. I'm sure there'll be some kind of firmware thing later to fix it. Here's hoping. So Amanda said she hasn't played the knockout mode yet, but you've been playing a lot of the Grand Prix.
Tons. And I've been playing battle mode too. I played a lot of balloon battles. We were doing some trash talking. The 3 of us were playing last night, me and my partners, and then my son came down, and then my daughter came down. So we were all kind of filtering in back and forth, and it was pretty great.
What about you, Jeff and John? What kind of modes have you been dabbling in Mario Kart World?
So I've played 3-star gold 50cc. I'm working on 100cc right now. I gotta tell this story. We played on Saturday, my family for the first time. So it's me, my wife, Kyrie, my 9-year-old, and then we decided that we're gonna let our 3.5-year-old play. Typically, before this one, we would just give her a controller. She had one of 2 controllers she held. It was an old PS4 controller or literally a controller to a remote control car. Those were her controllers. So we decided to let her play in. So her first video game she actually played is Mario Kart World, and let me tell you, her first ever race in Mario Kart World, she got 6th place.
Wow.
That's not
She's doing
bad.
better than I am.
Yeah,
She beat both my wife and my older daughter.
that's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Man, we love accessibility in games, and man, Mario Kart World.
Well, here's the
it
thing.
helps.
I don't even think the accessibility helps all that much. I mean, so of course there's smart steering, which my wife will play with, my older daughter plays with. I turn off because I like to grind around corners and that. And then the auto acceleration, all that does is make sure you do a trick when you go over a hill like a normal person would do. And then auto use items, they do not use items like I would use items. So I noticed she got a golden mushroom. And at least when I play and get a golden mushroom, you're spamming that item use button to go as fast as you can, as quick as you can.
Mm-hmm.
When she used her golden mushroom, she would use it, speed up, it slow down, then it'd use it again.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
but I mean, 6th place.
Even
I
hearing
think-
that though, I still would put all those on for me because it's still more than I could do all by myself.
Yes. But even I believe that first Grand Prix we raced, she ended up 10th overall. Like,
That's still pretty impressive
for
for her
three
first
and a
time
half,
out.
yeah.
Like, genuinely.
At 3.5, I think 10th out of 24 is pretty good.
yeah.
I'm gonna give her some credit. You are what I'm gonna say is you're screwed in a couple of years there, buddy. And Linda, that's what they put those accessibility features in there for, so that you can have a
Absolutely.
chance. Although I have a feeling you would be able to stay on the track. Maybe.
You underestimate my driving skills in these games.
Well,
But
yeah, they have.
but
the
you've
no
driven
fail.
me all over the place. I just, you've driven me down the streets of Philadelphia. I figure if we can handle that, you can handle a little
Yeah,
bit
it's not
of
the same
Mario
with the
Kart.
video game controller.
I guess that's true. Well, we'll just give you a
I'm
steering wheel.
comically bad. There you go.
She's stealing my line, everybody. John, what about you?
So I played one round of 3 races with the wife. She enjoyed it, but she wasn't that interested in it. So I've been doing a lot of the open world and just riding around doing the. So Linda, you know the big P buttons that are in Mario, like the big blue.
No.
So when you're playing Mario, there will be this big button that you press, and then like bricks will turn into coins and stuff. So
Okay.
when you hit these, they start missions in the open world.
Ooh.
So there'll be like
Oh,
little
that's
mini
cool.
races, or you'll have to tag a racer in front of you with a shell and knock them out,
Oh,
or
that's neat.
mini speed trials and stuff. And they're just randomly in the world. And as you're driving
cool.
around, there will be these little Yoshi food trucks and drive-throughs, and you grab these glowing takeout bags, and when you eat the
that's cool.
food, you get a
Okay.
new costume, if there's an available costume for that character.
Mhm.
And that's how you upgrade your costume and unlock more. So I did
Oh,
a
that's
lot
neat.
of that. So I have pages and pages that I've added onto. Also, Rainbow Road is locked, and I haven't gotten that yet. But there's just so much to do. I'm not like a big kart racer guy, so I'm gonna just chew away at this while playing other stuff. But I'm really enjoying what I have played, and I just know it's gonna get bigger and better as it goes.
I am a big kart racer junkie personally. So on the weekend, I played 4 hours straight of
Oh,
Grand
my.
Prix in 150cc mode. I didn't gear up to it, didn't level up to it. I just went straight into it with a bunch of my nerd friends down in Maryland, and that's what we did.
I'll get there.
It was trust, it was absolutely mad. I think this is the most fun I've had playing a Mario Kart game since I was a little girl. Truly.
Oh, wow.
It is really fun. One thing I also wanted to mention that I love, so with all the racetracks, there's some racetracks, that are based off, they redid a lot of the old racetracks. But even driving around the open world, or while you're driving on other racetracks, there are callbacks to other tracks. So one of the tracks is Peach Stadium, and as we're going, there's a part right before you get into the stadium. There's a big loop with a chain chomp going around. I'm like, that's Peach Gardens from the Wii. Or the Mario Circuit is a combination of different Mario circuits from the original SNES. Like, I think it's so cool how they just, even though they didn't use this exact track, they still are calling back. Don't want to spoil too much, but there's so many references in Rainbow Road that I'm like getting distracted while trying to race on it.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. This really is just kind of a everybody's here kind of moment for Mario Kart. I started with my sons playing at 150 cc's, but I had to slow it down because I need to learn the tracks before I can get going. And so I've started the 50s and then the 100s, and they give me a little bit of nonsense about it, but I'm like, guys, you got to let me do this in my own way. And I'm loving every minute of it. So that is Mario Kart World is the big one, right? That's the release game. We know that Nintendo really always tries to have like their one game, and they kind of drip things out over time. I know we've got about a month before Donkey Kong, and we'll be able to talk about that. But we all played, with the exception of Amanda, because she played a lot of Mario Kart, but we've played some other stuff. And so my understanding is that Jeff and John got the weird controller game thing that should have been a pack-in but wasn't. What is that thing, guys? And should people care, or should like only weird people like you guys care?
Okay, so what he's talking about is the
Loaded question.
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which, yes, I feel like it should have been a pack-in, but am I going to get my $10 worth? Definitely. It's really cool how it's set up. So it pretty much turns the whole Nintendo Switch into a museum. And throughout this museum, there's mini games you can play. There's exhibits that show off what the Nintendo Switch can do. There's like, people like us are interested. Like, we'll say frame rate, and most people are like, "Well, what's the frame rate? What does that mean?" There's a tech demo where you have to guess like the frame rate of a ball to show the different frame rates. But then throughout the whole thing, it's also giving you little tidbits about the creation into the Switch 2. And how we know Nintendo puts a lot of thought into everything they do. And there's some things that you or I would probably never even think of, but these people have been doing this their whole lives. For example, in the little exhibit about the dock, it talks about how each of the feet on the bottom of the dock are rubber except for one. And why they made that one not rubber is so that if your cords get tangled up and you pull, it's less likely to fall over and will slide with that one corner. But they didn't want it sliding all over the table. So cool thing, or even
that actually is pretty cool to talk about. Like, understanding design sensibilities, even if you're not a designer, is awesome.
Yeah. The wristband, the wrist strap, they were talking about how, unlike the Nintendo Switch wrist strap, which just goes all the way to the Joy-Con, it's braided so that your little slider doesn't go all the way down, because they didn't want it hitting up against the Joy-Con and falling off.
Yeah, the fact that they actually explain,
and they use like 3 different sewing techniques on it to make sure it won't come undone.
Yeah, the fact that they kind of explain how the tech works and like how Rumble works and all that, it's actually really interesting. I will amend this to say that people who have a very strong interest in how it all works, yeah, you maybe grab it. With that said, I'm sure there are also some long plays that will be up on YouTube that you can probably watch.
Yeah, but it's not the same holding it and watch. So they have something about Rumble. They do have multiple things about Rumble. The first thing, like, I think they showed, like, on the Nintendo Treehouse, where it's the maracas versus a bouncy ball and rocks. There's another one.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to cut you off only because I don't want to spend this much time talking about this $10 game. We got plenty of other stuff to talk about. if we could, maybe we'll put something in the magazine about it, because we are kind of we're approaching time. So what other highlights do we have from some other games? I know that they did some updates. Has anybody played something that was an update that they really want to mention?
So if you have Nintendo Switch Online and Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, if you go into the game as the Nintendo Switch 1, there will be a button at the bottom that says Switch 2 Edition. It will take you to the store. There's 2 download buttons. There's one that is the free download, and there's one that is the $10 download. If you have Switch Online, please get the free one. If you do not, pay the $10. The frame rate, it's 100 times more. It's what you think it was 7 years ago. Like it's like watching Final Fantasy VII Remake versus playing Final Fantasy VII. Like,
that's legit.
Yeah, like that tech demo that they had for like 20 years, that's what it is. Like the Final Fantasy tech demo for 20 years. Like, it's just so beautiful, so much better. Load times immaculate. Like, when you go into a temple, it's like under 10 seconds versus like 45 seconds a minute, and fast travel is like pop. I didn't do it personally, but I've seen loading into Animal Crossing goes from a minute and a half, minute 45 seconds down to 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's been really fast for Megan.
This feels like when I got Destiny 2 on my PS4 Pro versus my PS5. Like, having that SSD, having the faster memory and the better textures loaded, it's beautiful. And in 4K I have an OLED TV, so much better. I played Metroid Prime Remastered. I've been playing a bit of that, and the upgrades are there as well. I've seen some video of the Zelda Link's Awakening and Echoes, which uses the same engine. So much better. No frame rate drops. No hitching when you're going screen to screen like Animal Crossing used to do on old Animal Crossing games. Like, so there's a lot more that they feels
like, and this is, I think, the relevant description that I think a lot of folks that might be listening to this might need to hear, is that the Switch was out of date when it came out, right? Just based on the necessity and the way that it works. The Switch was out of date when it came out. And so Nintendo is a bunch of wizards, and they made a bunch of games, but as the system got older, games challenged it. And so there were a lot of Nintendo games and Pokemon, etc., that really were ready for an upgrade, but there was just for various economic and otherwise reasons they couldn't do it. And so now we have the Switch 2, and so a lot of these Switch games that maybe had some technical problems before, they're all getting a fresh coat of paint. And so if you do end up with a Switch 2, take a look. There's a list on the Nintendo website of games that got significant updates. Many of them are free. Some of them do cost money. But pretty much if it's just a graphical update, it's going to end up being included. And things like Mario Odyssey and, which that game is already immaculate looking, but it looks even better now. So it's worth giving it a look, because there's some of these games that you're going to want that will give you, that'll be almost a wholly different experience, especially if you enjoy graphics. I want to say I played a Zelda game myself this weekend. And I didn't play Breath of the Wild. Amanda, you'll be excited to hear. I played Legend of Zelda Age of Calamity.
Ooh.
The Musou game. Amanda.
No, I'm familiar. Thank you.
Oh, that was for everybody else. You know what? That game had like 1 million dudes on the screen, and it didn't even slow down.
Yeah.
That's actually good to hear, because I think that is relevant to Mike's interests.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, the
Yeah.
Muso games on the Muso games or games with millions of characters on the screen.
That I was playing Pokemon Scarlet, and when you went out to the field, there was Pokemon populated, and not a lot of popping or anything. They were just
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So that was really
So
cool.
I went looking for a Zelda game, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try this Age of Calamity because I do want to just beat up some moblins, and you know what, it works, and it was quite gorgeous, and very smooth. So we're obviously going to have lots of time talking about Switch games over we're going to be talking about Switch 2 games probably for the next 8 years. So let's take a little bit of time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to table Summer Game Fest stuff because I want Amanda to get caught up. Linda,
Many
you
thank
had
yous.
very briefly told us at the beginning that you had prepared some board games because school is almost over. We just talked about this.
It is.
So you prepared some
Yep.
board games to play to help kind of beat back the summer slide. Now, first of all, what the hell is the summer slide? I mean, I know, but I want you to remind me.
You know, but all right. So the summer slide is what we refer to in education as the skills lost from June or whenever school gets out, because some schools get out in May, until school resumes over the summer. There's always a backslide. There's always some skills lost. And so the goal is to minimize that skill loss over the summer break. So they're coming back with as much as possible. And I do have an article up on Engage Family Gaming that I put out 2 years ago about tips to reduce the summer slide. And so what I did is I pulled some of our newer games, and the goal was like to say what this could support. So I have a couple games with a couple different skill sets to just help keep some of the things that they've been learning fresh in their minds. So just a couple of quick things. So for some of the younger kids, math is always a thing, and keeping up that numeracy. So a game that we've played recently is One Too Many Rabbits, and this is a little bit like Shut the Box. You are using math to add cards together to get to certain goal numbers. And so this is just supporting that mental arithmetic. So this game is for 7 and up, which is perfect because that's great for kids that are first, second grade. Because most of my students right now are 7 or almost 7. So for skills like I've just been working on, they can work on their mental math. So something like this, it's a game, but it throws that math into them. And obviously if you get into more complicated games that have a little bit more complicated math, then that would support older kids. But that was one. And even with older kids, you could do it as multiplication and division. You could, change some of the numbers that they're working towards to make it so they have to use those higher level skills. Another one with math that we got at Toy Fair, Chipsy. And this one has some math because some of the sub games you're adding, but it's also memory. It's also that processing, problem solving. So there's a lot of the executive function that this can support too. And realistically, if we can keep just those strategies going, that is so huge for the kids. Like that almost I feel like is more important than the sub skills.
100%.
If you can do that. Oh, for sure. Steve, I know you really, couldn't get enough of this game, Biomos. So this is a science themed. So
Love that game.
A little more, so good. But it's got different biomes, so you can talk about different science themes with this, with nature and different habitats and sections on Earth. And I mean, it projects it out into space, to other planets. But it's got that science theme, and it can kickstart some of that thinking about some of those natural sciences and get that interest going for other topics. And so just kind of getting them, just their mind thinking about things. Another one, this one's great for older kids. It is still in the shrink wrap. But you could also find themes that link to books. So this is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings trick-taking game.
You're just showing that to flex, aren't you?
Say both less and more.
You're just flexing. You're just flexing.
I got
Go
this
ahead.
for Mother's Day.
I think you should actually
but
flex though, like just actually for real, like just
Do
like.
you really want to see the muscles that I'm working on?
I mean, I actually kind of do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of do.
Do I need to pause the stream for a moment?
No.
No, I'm not gonna take the guns out.
I'll
It's
flex.
fine.
There. See, I'm in my Star Wars cardigan
There we go.
right now.
Star Wars. Love it. So you can flex. I'm going to abstain. Thank you. But I mean, Lord of the Rings is such a huge book series, and so for older kids, you could kind of get them thinking about this genre, get them thinking about this story with the game, and then it could lead into some reading and wanting to know more about the world. And I mean, there's just so many books they could go quite, into reading quite a few different books if that was of their interest. And maybe they don't want to do Lord of the Rings, but another book within the fantasy series, within the fantasy world. There's so many different wonderful fantasy stories that could get them into.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be really great as bridging from the tabletop to going and reading. And I wanted to end with a really silly game. Danger! Hugs!
Hugs are dangerous? Oh, I guess that's
This
a
is-
bear. You should probably not
It's a
hug
bear.
actual
Nope.
bears.
So
I have to.
what
I have a
thought-
request. Bear with me. I have a request from the chat
Oh.
to share some images because your camera's coming in a little blurry. So bear with me a moment, everybody. I'm gonna
Okay.
catch up. We have Biomos, was the science
Okay.
game, and then we have the Lord of the Rings trick-taking game, otherwise known as where? Why is it not there? What's it called?
So it's Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings trick-taking game.
Why they
'Cause
gotta
it's a
be
whole
like
nother,
that?
They gotta add all the words because there's probably, well, as you see, there's a few Lord of the Rings games that have come out over the years.
Why they gotta be like this? Why is it being so mean?
Just put Lord of the
Here we
Rings trick. Oh, you got it?
It didn't work.
Nope.
I tried that. All right, and then you go on. Let's do Danger Hugs first.
All right. Danger Hugs. I'll talk about
Okay.
Danger Hugs while you find the other ones.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Danger Hugs is visual discrimination. So it is focused, it is visual discrimination because you are trying to determine if it's a safe animal or a dangerous animal. And they're all incredibly cute pictures. So they're very, very cute. The theme is super cute. I know my screen is blurry, but I'm still going to try to show things. But I mean, the difference between bunny and cat, so they're both very cute. So even though it might be blurry, I mean, they're not visually very, very different. So you have to really pay attention and focus. Oh, there it is. There's Lord of the Rings.
I did it.
So yeah, that one looks super cool. I can't wait to open that box up. I've just been busy with school, but that's next on my list.
And then I got
With
Danger Hugs.
You got Danger Hugs, and Danger Hugs has got different, you've got to figure out if the duck is safe and the lion is not. So it's just, but the pictures are very similar. So you've got that visual discrimination, plus you've also got working memory going on because you have to remember different gestures for different animals. And, if there's two in a row, you do something. So there's a lot of little memory bits to hold on to. And so working memory is such a good skill to support. So this one I thought was really perfect for that executive function to help support the memory and the focus and the visual discrimination, because all of those are skills that can translate to the school setting. So
Absolutely.
perfectly.
I really like
And
that.
this one's
That's
really fun.
adorable.
It's super cute. And I dropped it, but there's a little squishy heart. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that game,
Side of the-
Danger
like
Hugs.
squishy.
Danger Hugs is
So
Danger
cute.
Hugs is really fun. It's cuter than it has any right to be. So,
those were just my little starting ways to help with preventing some of the summer slide, keeping their brains going.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kahi in the chat mentioning that Danger Hugs is hilarious. She was actually at one of our game nights at Linda's house when we
Yes.
started to play it. And I thought it was going to be a little weird, but it turns out we all really, really liked it. So it is definitely one to
True.
throw on the list. It's not very expensive either, which is one of the
No.
cool parts. It's like $12. This is one of those really good icebreaker games, I like to think. Also, who doesn't like cute little vaguely spherical animals? I mean, I like vaguely spherical animals. So guys, we did it. I took a topic we were going to talk about and we punted it because we're just going to talk about Summer Game Fest and all that in 2 weeks. Who knows? This might actually be convenient because maybe Nintendo will have another Direct in between now and then. I think that might even be possible. They got to tell us something coming out this year other than Donkey Kong.
Maybe a Metroid Prime 4 update?
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm not here to speculate. I'm saying it's possible that maybe in the next 2 weeks we'll have stuff, but it'll be interesting. So with that said, Jeff, John, Linda, Amanda, thank you very much for joining me. Podcast night continues to be best night. We will be back in a few weeks to talk about all of the game announcements from this summer. And if you keep an eye on our various streaming channels, Thursday morning, you may see the continuation of my World of Warcraft streams, The Adventures of Gold Hooves. It's me streaming WoW with my mom, which you think that's, if you think it's what it is, like, trust me, it's cooler than you think. She's really into this. She's done her WoW homework, everybody.
That's amazing.
And so
Of course.
I'm at the keys. She's telling me what to do, and we're learning. So if you want to see me pretend to be a mage, because I don't know how to do it, it's on Thursdays. So everybody, hope you have a great night, and until next time, don't forget, get your family game on. We'll see y'all soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.